welcome to Kickin It with Kim Jayde. I'm Kim Jayde, and in this series, we're going to be chatting to guests around the world, London, Miami, New York, South Africa, and all over, about fashion, culture, music, and most importantly, sneakers. Hello, beautiful people. It has been an insane season of Kickin It with Kim Jayde, and we had to end it real right. We have DJ Clark all the way from New York City. This is the season finale.
Blessed.
How are you doing today?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Amen.
So everything is all good.
First of all, yesterday was your birthday, so the fact that you're jumping on the call with us today, we're super grateful.
Well, you're family, so I have to jump on the call.
Thank you. Look, our time is limited, and I want to get the absolute most out of this interview. So I'm going to jump straight
Let's do it.
here with you.
Okay.
Hip hop is really big in South Africa now and has been for a few years. And I think it's very important for us in Africa to understand who put on and who was responsible and who played a part in creating some of our greatest idols. Jay-Z is undoubtedly one of the GOATs in hip hop, and the way he's working with his wife and creating this incredible legacy is super inspiring. And I wanted to know if you don't mind sharing with an African audience the hand that you played in working with Jay-Z.
So Jay-Z started rapping very young, and he used to rap with a guy named Jazz, The Jazz, I should say. And The Jazz was one of my friends when I was young. And he introduced me to Jay-Z when we were all young. And I thought that I actually heard probably the best MC I'd ever heard, because I thought those two guys were the best. But then when I heard, I just felt like there was something different about him. So years go on, I become an A&R at a record company, and the only artist I want to sign is Jazz and Jay-Z. So I go looking for Jazz, I find Jazz. I go looking for Jay-Z, it's hard to find him, but I finally find him. And then I sit with him and I'm like, yo, we need to sign a record deal. And he thought I was crazy. Jazz thought I was crazy too, but I wanted to sign them. And then we started to work on music, and Jazz didn't keep up with it as much as Jay did. And then it just became me and Jay-Z, just trying to make some records and make an album and put some music out and get a record deal or whatever. And then I introduced him to Damon Dash, and then Biggs comes into the picture. And then when every record label told us no, we just decided to do it ourselves. So I'm the guy who kept putting the pressure on Jay-Z to do it. Like, a lot of people say I found Jay-Z, but I don't think Jay-Z was lost. I just think Jay-Z didn't feel like doing it, but I just pressured him to do it.
Incredible. And now looking at him now, how does it feel to see where he came from to where he is now and the impact he has on a global culture?
Well, the thing is, I really did think he was the best MC. So what's happening for him and what he's done and what he means to the game is not a surprise to me, because I thought he was the best. So I expected him to be treated like he's the best. I expected his rollouts to be the best. I expected his music to be the best. I expected the people to say he's the best, because I believed he was the best. It's not like a mother believing in their son going, oh my God, he's my baby. No, I'm going, no, this guy's lyrical talent is better than everyone else's, and he should be looked at like the best. So I worked with this guy knowing he was the best. So when I see everything that's happening, it makes all the sense in the world to me. Most people are like, you must be so surprised. And I'm like, no, I believed he was going to take over. I believed it was the thing to do. I had to work with him because he was the best, and it made sense to me. So everything that's happening, none of it's a surprise. And all of the things that's happening business-wise makes sense to me, because he was a hustler. If you're a hustler, it don't matter what game you get in. You're going to go for it as hard as possible no matter what. You're going to hustle.
We've seen a major shift in not only music and entertainment, but fashion, because during COVID, The Black Lives Matter movement took on a whole new wave. It became a global movement. And we've seen a lot of pressure being put on record labels and brands on how they treat people of color. How does it feel from the US? Have you seen a conscious shift in the music industry? Kanye is one for famously talking about things and going on these major Twitter rants and getting mad press, and he's very vocal about it. Do you feel like any change has come from everything that's happening, from it trending, from being a trending topic?
Black people have been popular for a very long time. You know, even when we weren't popular, we were very, very popular. So what you see happening is because, well, I think is because white folks are getting a mirror held up in front of them. And when you look in the mirror and you have to answer the questions, like, are you a racist? Or is what you're doing wrong to this different kind of people? When you look in the mirror and have to answer the question, and the wrong answer is the answer that you have to give, you might start changing your ways. I'm not saying a bunch of things are changing. I'm just saying you might start changing your ways. Like I always say, you got all these racist folks. Why don't you just ask them why they hate? If you ask them, they don't have an answer. So things should change anyway. They don't know how to answer the question, because then I would have to deal with them and admitting that they're racist, so admitting that they're foul. So when you see these little things happening, it's almost like it's happening out of shame. Like all of a sudden you got black people on magazine covers. Well, black people should have been on those magazine covers because we spend the most money with these brands. Yeah. You should have thought about that. But, you know, if black people don't get behind it, it doesn't blow up. Oh, now it's cool? Why is it cool? Because now your kids are on the front line fighting with black folks because they don't want to get caught up in their parents' racism? So the little shifts that are being seen, and I call them very little shifts, is because it's out of shame. And though, you know, there were biases all over the place, racism is a white issue. They created it. So they should with it. So things should shift. And if they do shift, that's cool. If they don't shift, we're going to keep fighting. Yeah. I don't really think there's a big, amazing shift. I just think some of the brands and some of the labels and some of the magazines and some of the outlets are going, oh my God, we don't want to seem racist. We should deal with these black folks a little bit. My thing is, once everything dies down and once black people aren't happy again, are we going to be off the magazine covers?
Yeah.
So, you know, I want you to keep that same energy. I'm not giving any belief that it's all good until it's really all good.
The truth of the matter is the top execs in all the music, majority of the record labels, majority of the sneaker brands that we so endorse are headed by white people, by white execs.
Yeah, for sure.
But the faces of their brands are the Drakes and the LeBrons and the Michael Jordans of the world that bring them in billions and billions of dollars worldwide. How can young artists, athletes, and creatives going forward profit in a more fair way by helping these brands selling their products? How do we make that decision?
The question would be, what's fair? You know, like if a brand is $1 billion brand and they see something in you and they say, we want to give you $2, $3, $4 million to be sponsored by us or to be a marketing tool with us, what's fair? You know what I mean? Is it, oh, I want equity in the brand, or is it, I want royalties for every shoe that sells? They believe in you. Do you believe in yourself enough to ask for that? It becomes, how do you play the game that's being played? Like, I don't want to, look, if I'm the biggest rapper out, I don't want to sign to a company just to take some money from them. I want to sign to them because we're going to be partners, because you really believe in me and I actually believe in me. But so many artists, they don't necessarily believe they can sell a shoe. So until you get to that point, like Kanye believed he could sell a shoe. So instead of signing to Adidas as an artist, he signed to them as a partner. Like, no, I want Yeezy to be a brand. So It's what are the artists gonna do when they're signing, or what kind of deal are they asking for, and you have to understand, like, there's a marketing budget for everything. So if you got $3, $4, $5 million in marketing and you want to go after somebody like Drake has to know what is he willing to do to be a part of something, or the new artist has to go, what difference am I going to make? Is this a thing for me or is it a thing for them? Does it work for me as much as it works for them? And then they have to have a lawyer that's going to fight for them to get whatever they need, because that's the hard part, is fighting, because lawyers, a lot of them are just there to take their percentage of whatever the deal is. If you got to get a lawyer that's going to fight because he understands as well as you understand what's right.
It's something we've been talking to our local artists and our local DJs that come in. There's only been one South African artist in history that's done a collaboration with a brand here, and it was last year, 2019, Reebok, and an artist named AKA. That, you know, it was a really, really big deal. Super limited amount of sneakers that were released in the country, and afterwards we found out he took to social media and just was like, the brand effed me. And then the chat becomes, okay, but was it your responsibility to make sure the deal you were doing was right? You know, because brands can do this chat on the phone in the board meeting.
That's definitely the art.
Yeah. Because they're going to do what's best for them at the end of the day.
It's definitely the artist. You have to understand, like, everything is a negotiation. And again, you have to have a lawyer in place that knows what he's talking about, that knows what's going to be right, that is going to look like almost 2-3 years ahead when he's making this deal. And the artists are usually just in the hype because they got to do something with a brand. You can't be in the hype. If they're coming to you, that means they see something. That means you have to take a step back and go, well, what's really happening here? And how am I going to approach this? And should I approach it this way? And like, what's going to go on here? And how long is this going to last? And how much money can I make here? And yeah, you got to protect yourself. You're signing a deal. So that means you have the ability to tell them no. You have the ability to say, no, I don't want this. I want that. You go back and forth, negotiate your deal so that you get what you need and you get what you want, so that you never can go, somebody stiff me. That's like an artist when he signs to a label and he doesn't fight to own his publishing. So somebody gives him a publishing deal, and then later on he's like, yo, they took my publishing. Well, if he gave you $300,000 for your publishing, he didn't take anything. He paid you. And every deal is a deal. And every contract should be read by a lawyer. And every lawyer should be honest enough to say, that's not a good deal. And nobody stiffed him. He just signed a bad deal, or he didn't sign a deal, or he didn't understand his deal, or he didn't go about it properly. It's so many answers to that, but nobody stiffed anybody if he signed a contract. Now, if they didn't honor the contract, then yes, he should get a lawyer and he should go back and go get whatever he's supposed to get.
Yeah, I think he signed a contract. I think it was the latter. But that's really good advice. It's good practical advice, and it really is up to the artist to take responsibility for the deals that they're putting their names on and selling to the audience. Absolutely. We have successfully done incredible collaborations with major brands. The Nike Air Force one that you did, it was a friends and family only, apparently. I'm Simply Be in Miami told us she was lucky enough to get her hands on a pair, one of 100. Yeah. And
yes.
I was super lucky enough to get a pair of sneakers from you that you sent from New York.
Yes.
K-Swiss collab. Please, can you tell me a little bit about it? Because I know this is a very, very special shoe and it means a lot to you.
K-Swiss came to me to help them roll something out for Black History Month. And the first thing I said was, Black History is every day. So what I want to do is something that when you see it, you automatically know what it is, and it doesn't have to be a certain month. You can look at it and go, oh, that's about Black people. That's anytime. And I want it to be easily worn anytime. So what I came up with was what you see, but I also thought about how many years Black people have been taken advantage of. Okay. So I went and picked the best leathers possible to put on a K-Swiss sneaker. So that K-Swiss sneaker has the best leather that's ever been on a K-Swiss. And I made it cost what regular K-Swiss cost. So basically what I went in to do was, yes, I'm going to do something for the brand to say yes for Black History Month, but I'm also going to do something that the brand is giving back to the people. So I made a shoe that should cost about $150, and when you went in the store, it's about $70. So because of the leathers, because of the quality of that shoe, it should be about $150 based off of the leather alone. But when you walked in the store, I think it was like $69. So that means I'm going to give the consumer a shoe that costs more, and I'm going to make it cost cheaper because of the way that they took advantage of our people all of this time.
Completely. And again, what I love is that despite the fact that the audiences the guests we've had on the show are super diverse from all over the world, whenever it comes to talking about a collaboration or doing a sneaker of their own, because a lot of them haven't had their dream come true where they can make their own. But the thing we keep hearing is that, no, I'm not going to sell my shoe for a $350 or, you know, the off-white price range. If people want to make a sneaker that they can buy, that their friends from the hood can afford, that they could afford when they were kids. Do you know what I mean? So
well, the funny part is K-Swiss are already very, very easily accessible. They're not expensive shoes. I just thought, you made so much money off of Black and brown people, I'm gonna make the best version of a K-Swiss possible. Once they spec'd it out, they were like, this shoe is gonna cost $150. I was like, if you charge $150 for the sneaker, you could just throw it in the garbage. I'm not touching it. So they were like, what do you want to do? I said, I want it to cost the same, because I want, when somebody picks it up, they go, do you see the quality of this? This isn't regular K-Swiss.
Yeah.
And it's the same price. So it forces the brand to say, we understand that we've taken advantage and we want to give something back.
Wow. That's major.
Yeah. I've done that on another collaboration with Nike as well. I made a shoe that was $250, and when it came out, it was $150.
Wild.
So people were going to the register about to pay $250 for the sneaker, and then the register, when they barcode rang up, it said $150, and everybody was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I was like, yeah, because they should make better products cost less. And it was Black Friday, and in New York, or in the United States, Black Friday is the biggest sale day in the world. So I put it out on Black Friday. So if it's supposed to be on sale, let's put it on sale.
We've been asking our guests for their craziest sneaker Cub story, and I want to know, Kickin, with one of the most incredible collections on the planet, a true OG of the sneaker game. Tell me your craziest sneaker Cub story.
This like 2001, it was early 2000. I had to DJ in Japan, and I was told that there's this tan and pink Air Force One coming out, but it was coming out the week before I had to DJ, so I was gonna miss the release. So I called the promoter and said, I need you to change my flight to make it so I leave a week early to come out there. And they were confused, like, why you want to come out a week early? And they were like, we're not paying for your hotel room. And I was like, that's fine, I'll pay for the hotel room, just change the flight. So they changed the flight. I got out there a week early. I went to 11 stores and bought a pair out of every one of the stores. And I came back with 11 pairs of these tan and pink Air Force Ones. They're called linens. And when I came back to New York, nobody understood what they were. And then maybe like 4 or 5 months later, people started importing them to their stores, and people were like, what are these pink sneakers? And I had them for like 5 or 6 months early, but I went all the way to Japan a week early to buy a bunch of sneakers, and they didn't sell out. That's the reason why so many people in New York started importing the shoes out of Japan into their stores. But when I was walking in the stores with these tan and pink sneakers, people were like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, I got on a flight and went to Japan a week early to buy sneakers.
New York to Japan, stayed an entire week, paid for the hotel yourself for an entire experience before your gig, and then went around Japan to 11 or 12 different stores in order to cop one of another. That's wild. That's a great level.
And the reason why I had to go to so many stores is because my size is almost non-existent in Japan. Back then I was 12, so 12 and 13, like no one wears past a 10. So to find it was crazy. So I went to a lot more stores, but I bought out of 11 stores.
Literally lived through watching the sneaker culture evolve from something where you will fly to Japan to buy sneakers or go to these stores and go into the basements and, ayo, what you got in the back, that kind of chat, to now online raffles, bots, and just not being able to buy anything unless you happen to be on the list. The world has changed so much in terms of sneaker culture and the sneaker community. And now we have digital sneaker heads, which all they do is, like me, take pictures of their kicks and share it with the world. Whereas before it was only the aficionados in the sneaker culture that could give their opinions. What is it like to have watched that progression? And where do you feel we are now? Is the culture dead? Is it dying? Or is it an exciting new era for sneaker culture?
I've never, and I never will call it the sneaker culture.
Okay.
Because
educate us.
Because the word culture is way too big to just attach it to sneakers. Okay. Sneakers are clothes, and everybody wears clothes. And you can't go anywhere and see somebody who doesn't have a pair of sneakers. Therefore, it's just clothes. I say that there's a sneaker community. Okay. Those are people who are more enthusiastic about sneakers than others. It's just a community. And I think that everything that you see happening is called the sneaker game.
Got it?
It's a game. Everybody's chasing shoes, to get shoes, to do this, to do something else. It's almost like a game. So I call it the sneaker game, and I call the people who are in it a community. Okay. And I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy because I don't think half of them want the shoes. I think half of them are realizing that there are some fanatics out there who are willing to pay more for shoes than they actually cost. I refuse to pay more for a shoe than it costs. I don't even understand it. To me, it's crazy. Unless it's something like from back in the days that I always wanted, and maybe I'm willing to sacrifice for it. But like if a shoe comes out on Saturday and the shoe costs $150, I'm not going to on that same Saturday pay somebody $400 for the shoe. It's not going to happen because it's just sneakers. And next week there'll be another sneaker. And the other part is I'm buying shoes because I want to wear them. I'm not buying shoes so I can look at them on a shelf. You know what I'm saying? You might be out there, showing off your shoes or whatever, but you're wearing them. Like you go places wearing your shoes. They mean something to you. You care about wearing sneakers. There's people who just care about getting sneakers so that they can sell them to people like you. The people that care. Right. So to me, it's a game. It's not if it was a culture, they'd care about it differently. Culture, Islam is a culture. Islam is a culture. Culture is a way of life. Sneakers aren't a way of life. Sneakers are clothes. So I don't say sneaker culture, and you won't catch me saying it. I'm going to say the sneaker game, and the people in the sneaker game are a sneaker community. I stand by that. Of course, I get people who want to argue the different, but I also say that's their opinion. And when you ask me, I'm giving my opinion. But I do think everything that's happening within this community and within this sneaker game is a little crazy. And I feel that people should really be careful because there are kids who will pay for sneakers before paying their rent. And that is very unsmart. I don't want to say stupid. I just want to say it's really unsmart.
We are closing with, if your house was on fire and you could only save one pair of shoes, what would it be?
My wife and kids.
It's the perfect answer.
It's just sneakers. Sneakers don't mean that much to me. I love sneakers. Trust me, I want to be fresh every day. But sneakers don't mean more to me than my family. So You know, I would have saved my records before I saved sneakers. I'm a DJ first. DJing is the reason I'm able to afford all the sneakers. So if I keep my records, I can keep making money. I can keep buying sneakers. But if I don't have a family, what am I living for? If I don't have the family that I created, what am I living for? I might as well die in the fire.
That was so perfect. That was so perfect.
It's very honest.
Yo, I'm so humbled. Can I just say, to be virtually in your presence, to be able to take your time and pick your brain, and for you to share so openly and honestly, I'm so humbled and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for your time.
It's all good, Kim. We family. It's all good.
That is how you end like a season of madness. This has been the most incredible season of Kicking It with Kim Jayde, the premiere season, and to have you on the season finale is an absolute honor. So thank you so much for your time.
It's all good.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you soon.
We out. Thank you, DJ Clark Kent.
All right.